All right, I believe we are live. So today we're going to be talking about landlord incentives. This is a subject matter that's so undercovered, whether it's Google or even YouTube, that I feel compelled to tell you about it. You know, one of the things about being a landlord, especially when you have low income clients, Section 8, and so on, is you have incentives out there. But most of you don't even know what it is, or even how to get it, or what your options are, how to negotiate it. There's not a great deal of information that's accurate, and what's out there is woefully under supported by definition. So we're going to get into that a little bit. But before we start, let's do some introductions. I am the owner of section8consulting.com. Many know me on YouTube as well as from our website. We deal with thousands of clients a year and around 100 or so landlords, anywhere from a landlord having a single property all the way up to 500 or more. One landlord with 10,000 plus units. Okay. So I don't own 30 or 40 shacks around town and rent them out and think that I'm giving some tips and tricks. I deal with a vast number of properties and investments that can reach upwards of 40 million with a landlord. So I'm a consultant. I don't own these properties, but I consult those landlords on that. And it's helpful not only for the landlord, but it's also helpful for the tenant, because the tenant could actually improve their situation. You're holding a voucher, maybe you're low income. And so if you're learning about these things, then that means you can introduce the landlord to it, which makes you a more attractive candidate, especially when you're showing your landlord what he can do to better improve his ROI, return on investment. So I've taken some notes because through my vast wisdom, I have a lot in my head and I don't always get it right. And so I like to keep some notes here. The principal things we'll be talking about is going to be sign-up bonuses, lease-up bonuses, referral bonuses, security deposits. Let me pull my little list here that y'all can't see. Utility deposits, application fee deposits, retention payments, damage protection, and insurance, rehabilitation costs and repairs. In other words, your big functional points of electricity, water. One of the bigger incentives out there is a lot of landlords just have old properties. That doesn't mean they're slumlord. It just means they're older properties. They could use some improvements, and sometimes that's an incentive. Also, there's a whole realm of other types of tenants that receive federal funds and subsidies. Now, just as a sidetrack note, we have war going on, for whatever that's worth. You have all these people coming from another nation, and that is a different segment of what the federal government funds, and those become your tenants, and that's good money. Also, you have Department of Justice with federal witnesses, federal criminals, FEMA, and Red Cross. You guys don't even understand the fundamentals of all the different places you get rent. Some of these federal agencies, through witnesses and witness protection programs, Department of Justice, and FEMA, offer a great deal more rent than you can ever imagine. Some of these cases go on for years. Refugees and other things for different and various purposes. So there's a whole world of things you don't even know. So let's talk about some of those. But before I do that, let me give you the principal basics that everybody wants to know. That way we can get that jazz out the way and I can tell you what it's really about. Again, more notes I'm going to read from. So monetary incentives and reimbursements. And what we're going to talk about there is these are different incentives that each housing authority may offer. Now, just so we have a fine understanding, HUD is the federal agency that receives all federal funds. It disperses its federal funds to your state and again to the housing authority, your HA, in your county. A county may have several housing authorities. Also, a housing authority may cover up to 20 different counties. So they make the decision at the local point what incentives there are. They're not going to put out a brochure in the lobby saying, oh, by the way, here's a shopping list of stuff. You can come and make some money off of us. If they can get away with just having you have a tenant come to you, your building, knock on the door, here's my request for tenancy, here's how much money I have to spend on the unit you want to rent, and you're woefully underprepared to understand what these incentives are, then you get nothing. That's the game. That really is a game. So, establishing those relationships with the executive level employees and housing authorities and understanding how to get these things or opening up that difficult conversation is something that our company does with housing authorities. And for those that are smaller landlords, helping you better understand how to acquire those things. If you're a tenant and you really want to bring a lot of punch to your application, then you can open that dialogue up about incentives and reimbursements. Okay. Now get on to some of the other simple jargon here. So that, again, we're going to talk about sign-up bonuses for a quick session. Rarely publicized, but just because they don't put it out in the newspaper and they don't publish it on Google doesn't mean it's a. So what is a sign-up bonus? It means you're a landlord, and if you accept a tenant, especially in the middle of a pandemic, a housing bubble, high interest rates, right, a middle of a war, a middle of inflation, and how much other shit that can go wrong in this nation at this point. So a sign-up bonus simply means that if you accept that tenant, looks like we have a co-star and wants to visit. Sorry, most of you know by the logos, I have an affinity for cats and rescue them, and this is just one of them. So she just wanted to stop by and say hello. Cats definitely, they don't care whether or not I make a video. They'll simply address me whenever they need attention. All right, back to that sign-up bonus. So you sign a tenant up for 12 months lease. The housing authority is ingratiated because you've done so, and they may offer anywhere from $500 to $5,000. As a primary example, I won't say who or where or what state, but one tenant was larger. He had several hundred units. I think he made $1.5 million, and he made $1.5 million on the day he opened. That's a lot of leases at $5,000. Now that's not including the factor that he's also going to be receiving rent and other incentives. But you see the point. That's not a special handshake with the governor of the state. If you know how to negotiate these things, you know what you're looking for, then there's a lot more than just rent out there to get, all right, and protection. So 12 months lease, there could be incentives, there may not. And sometimes you can negotiate them if you are bringing something bigger to the table as a landlord. Second thing we're going to talk about is some of these other ones I'm going to bring up. Let me pull my list out here. So the sign-up bonus, and then, of course, we have the lease-up bonus. Now, there's a big difference between sign-up and lease-up. The lease-up bonus is what I was just talking about. You lease them up 12 months. The sign-up bonus, I should have separated these. Sign-up bonus means you're a first-time landlord, or maybe you're an old landlord, been doing this for a minute, but it's been 3 years has passed. Now, they could articulate those rules differently. They may say maybe it has to have been 2 years before you can go back and get the sign-up bonus. It's kind of a one-time bonus, and that, too, can be between several $100s to several $1,000s. We have referral bonuses. Some housing authorities get real aggressive. Oh, by the way, Miss Nancy or Bob, if you refer some other people in the neighborhood that own some investment properties, we'll also pay you some big dollars for that. So sometimes they have referral bonuses. Security deposits. A lot of housing authorities understand that tenants are struggling, and so you know what? To ease the process of this, they'll pay security deposits. Sometimes they'll pay double security deposits. So that means that literally you're getting your rent, your incentive check, plus you're getting double deposit just in case of damage. Utility deposits. Why would that matter? So a lot of you landlords are metered. Some of you are unmetered, some are metered, some are master metered. In other words, if you have 100 units or even 3, and you have 1 meter, 3 clients, and you're issuing electric bill to each, then you've got utility deposits, right? So that deposit from your client, you can get that from the housing authority. Now, again, I want to suggest to you this. All these things, as I'm going through it, doesn't mean your housing authority offers it. It's a matter of negotiation to get it and see what they're going to offer. There will never be a list. You'll never be able to call down there and say, oh, by the way, give me the shopping list. I'd like to see what I can get free today as a landlord. It's all in negotiation. Moving on, application fees. A lot of tenants do struggle with that process. It is expensive, and sometimes housing authorities will pay for that as well. And you can make that part of the agreement. Retention payments for those landlords that go on to continually lease up. So you have, say, Sally moved in, and you guarantee that if Sally doesn't break into the HAP contract or your rental agreement, and she continues to do well the first 12 months, then the retention payment will be given to you, because that means you can renew her lease. Damage protection. A lot of you guys, you know what? There's more stupid videos on YouTube about damage. Let me tell you something most of you don't realize. How do people on YouTube make money? Now, clearly, when I'm dealing with this, I deal You'll have to excuse me for 1 second. All right, sorry about that. I had a small interruption. Besides that, you have retention payments, and then we were talking about damage protection, which means different types of insurance and they could potentially give you, as well as the deposits and down payments against potential damage. And I was talking about the fact that people do make videos on YouTube. Look, any idiot can walk around the city of Detroit, walk in there, pretend to own a home, make this compelling video that's so nasty. It gets a lot of reviews. A lot of these videos are just fake. That is not a reality. I've looked at a lot of them. They cannot prove they even own the home they're videotaping in. Look, there's lots of abandoned homes. You can go in there, pretend to own it. Oh, my Section 8 landlord did this. I've seen lots of that bullshit on YouTube. So beyond that, we have vacancy loss, which means they can cover the cost between the long period it takes sometimes to do HQS, which is quality housing inspection. With housing quality inspections, sometimes you end up having to wait 10, 20 days, for that to go through. Well, they can cover that rent while you're waiting to process the application and get that housing quality inspection. Beyond that, we have rehabilitation and repairs. The rehabilitation and repair part, that's a situation where anywhere from air conditioning, plumbing, and so on, if you have an older property, they may be able to give you a grant, which is no cost to you. Don't pay it back. It's not a loan. It could help you improve the property to meet the HQS. In other words, they're going to fundamentally help you invest in your property to increase your chances to be able to utilize the program and actually have Section 8 tenants. And then the last couple rounds are going to be the DOJ, Department of Justice, FEMA, and Red Cross. Look, guys, there are witnesses, there are drug lords and other different things. But look, the point is, all these things, whether it's incidental by serious weather or criminal cases or civil cases, they pay out big money for tenants. And sometimes a house burns down and you might get a call from FEMA. They need to rent from you for 5 years while they rebuild their home. So there's lots of ways to accept vouchers. Sometimes vouchers aren't vouchers. Maybe that is a subsidy on the sideline from the government to house somebody. It may not even be potentially low income. So there's a whole world of things. And unfortunately, I don't want to make this video 2 hours long. So this is a taste of just some of the things that you could incentivize yourself with. So before you go run out there and think that you're the smartest guy in the room and you're going to be the best landlord ever, there's a whole lot you don't know. So I'm going to link you up with some information. And clearly I put my information in the comments section and the bottom of the video. That way, if you decide that you want to consult with somebody that understands these processes, can help you or your investment or your brokerage or whatever it may be, then I would advise talking to me before you go out there and set up some agreement where you get paid nothing other than rent. Okay. So let me grab that link and then I'm going to close it out. There's no reason to keep this as a long-winded video at this point. I think that y'all get the gist of what you could potentially get out of the situation. So here we go. I thought I had it prepared here. I'm going to put this in a live video, and if you're a landlord, you can reach out and get our business documentation and so on. And I'm going to wish the rest of you all a good day. We'll have a new video soon. Good seeing you, Hillary C., and good seeing you, Max Law. And Max Law goes on to say, do they do this in Los Angeles? I have to check, but a lot of cities do it. So just to be clear, guys, it is an independent situation from each housing authority, from each county and each state. It requires investigation, a little bit of research, negotiation at the executive level, CEO level, to see what they may or may not have. They're not always forthcoming. They don't publish it, and there certainly isn't going to be a pamphlet out there. This is something that comes at the expense of expertise for me to understand, and I'm trying to convey those things to you. You can reach out there and try to do it yourself, see what the results are, or you can work with a consultant that really knows. And you do have a lot of power. The bigger, the better the property, the more you've got, and so on, the more leverage you have. In some cases, I've been able to get several different parts of city government to come and actually meet owners under one roof, okay, where they pitch the sale to you. In other words, they need you. You don't need them. There's lots of ways to do this. So, all right, guys, I've enjoyed talking with you. Hope you liked the video. If you have any questions, you can reach out to our company. We'd be happy to discuss what your options may be in relation to some of these incentives. I think at count right now, they're probably around 70 different types of incentives, and they change all the time. So, all right, guys, I've enjoyed talking with you. Have a great day. Bye-bye.